All right, straight. Keep coming back. More to your left again. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, straighten out. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming.
Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today we are going to work on this 44 that we pulled out of Virginia. I sent Mike and the Swedes down to Virginia to grab this car that I bought kind of sight unseen or from a few photos through text message. And surprisingly, the car is better than we had hoped, or as good as I had hoped. And as far as rust and everything underneath goes, this car looks initially really nice. Has one repaint that has a little bit of cracking lacquer, but otherwise it's good. Now, somebody did probably resurrect this car in recent history, but from, again, sitting for a while and old fuel and et cetera, it's not running quite right. We know it has an exhaust leak, and we don't know what else is going to be up with this car. So our goal is to make this car 100% roadworthy so that we can sell this car to somebody that can enjoy it and drive it and basically just get in it and go when we go to sell it. So we're gonna put it up on the lift, check it out, see if it is actually as clean as it looks. The odometer says 19,000 and some miles on it. We're kind of thinking it might be original miles just because of how clean the interior and everything is. But when we get this car up in the air, we're probably really going to be able to tell by how much has been messed with and how clean it is underneath. Fingers crossed we don't see some kind of horrific sins of the past when we put this up on the lift. So we get this all set up and get it up in the air. Seem okay? What?
So far, so good.
Rough.
You too. Under the X number in the back.
Got a little closer, but
Yeah. To rearrange the metal bin a little bit.
yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that rack there. Because it's always an issue.
Yeah, when you're putting cars in.
Really need to have that whole empty.
What's that?
No.
No, it's not just before it, I think.
Yeah,
It
it's
usually
fine.
does anyhow.
Yeah, it's fine. We've had the mercury all the way up, it's no problem.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it up on the lift and we're gonna inspect and see. One thing I'm noticing straight away is this thing has a lot of like original black paint on stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like, this doesn't look like it was restored. It looks like original black paint on backing plates and the axle and all of that. That doesn't look like it's been redone from what I can tell. The blue oil pan, I don't know about that. That looks like somebody's been in there. We could see there's some kind of sticker. I don't know what that sticker says. I'm guessing that's a rebuild, but we don't know. It's kind of odd that the engine has a blue oil pan. I've never seen that. So that and the starter makes me wonder if somebody's been in there at some point. It's got like all these tin trays, which are almost always, oops, swap around, almost always taken off straight away. All these like drip trays and things like that catches the oil from probably from the steering box and the engine, but those things are almost always taken off. It's got the one underneath here. It also looks like it's never been restored as far as I could tell. It's got that.
Almost like it's been undercoated or something.
I think they used to, some of it I think was, and then, you know, people would get that done as well. I don't know if it's original or not.
Right.
But we can see like the bump stops look like they're original, just wearing down, but they are still there. This car has never been touched by a hot rodder, so everybody's cringing right now because we have the car. So we have an exhaust leak.
Oh, look up, it's right there.
I can't see it.
Right.
Oh yeah, it broke.
Yep.
Right there at the muffler manifold thing for the heater. Okay. Well, that's not too bad, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's our exhaust leak there, so we got to get that fixed. That's making it run poor. But look at the exhaust. I really wonder if this is original exhaust. As crazy as it sounds, but I don't know. Just
Nah, not with these muffler clamps.
oh yeah, those aren't the early style like we saw in the. But I don't know what a 40 would have, but yeah, you're probably right. Somebody made this. What's this here? Oh,
Ooh, there ain't nothing left of that. That's an original piece of pipe.
maybe.
And nothing left of that one.
Yeah, so that one needs to be replaced. We're gonna have to do some patching. I'm probably just gonna patch the exhaust on this thing just to get it back together. But tailpipe looks okay. All that looks fine. So probably not an original exhaust, but everything else.
Yeah, you can see all the tube bending in it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not original.
But brakes look okay. I can't tell if this is damp here because it's might just be damp from oil. I don't know, but.
So it's been doing some watering under here.
Oh yeah, looks like somebody was maybe for the taillights. I think I saw a turn signal flasher in the, yeah, you can see it goes up into the taillights here. Turn signal flasher was in the trunk, so maybe they added flashers. Does it have? It has 2 taillights, so it's a deluxe.
Ah, there's what Mike was talking about. Stuffed up in here, the snakes.
I can't see it yet.
It's,
Oh yeah, oh look at him. But look at the floors. I don't know if Steve can shine a light here on the,
wow, yeah.
yeah, that's not been patched, all original floors. The tool tray under here, this is the spot that everybody asks about on a 40, or I guess a 37 to 40. But look, it's never been, I mean, that is like, can't ask for cleaner little tool tray. And then the kick-ups over the frame, they do tend to rot here, but there's a little bit of rust, but nothing like major. It's just surface rust, honestly. But I don't see anything like that. A lot of times the frame rots and also the body rots all in there. So this thing is very, very close to virgin. There's a little bit of the paint flaking off that it's, you know, surface rust, but man, it's a nice car. You know, all this is that I'm seeing is just the factory undercoating or whatever is just peeling a little bit. So this car's lived a pretty nice life, I think. All right, so we identified the things that need to be replaced for sure, but you could see somebody's been through this thing at some point in its life. See how the engine's green, Steve? We were talking about what color is the engine supposed to be. I believe on this era they were green, but although it looks like there's multiple coats of green.
And yeah, there's blue splatter and stuff, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some blue on there. We don't know what's going on exactly. It's terrible lighting in here under the hood of a freaking car like this. So, yeah, you can see multiple shades of green. The water pumps have definitely been replaced at some point, which is very good, obviously. Carburetor has been replaced. I know we showed some of this already, but we're just going back over it. So the carburetor has definitely been replaced and is very nice looking. Fuel pump has been replaced. We saw the gas deck was replaced. I could see a bunch of crap in the bottom of the filter. That could also be part of our issue. It might have a carb that's just clogged up. And it looks like somebody put a new soft line on there, and they did the no-no of putting pipe tape or dope on the threads, which also could get in the carburetor and cause a problem. New voltage regulator. So it's had somebody's definitely gone through and revitalized. This looks like it's new, the throttle rod there. So it's had some stuff, but this unique, like I think it's a factory option heater that has a manifold that comes off of the exhaust, which is where it's kind of leaking, goes up into the cow, and then it also has this little blower motor that kind of sucks, I guess, hot air off of the, it also sucks hot air with this little electric motor off of the radiator. It has a little ducting that pulls the heat off the radiator, blows it through here and blows it down and eventually through here. And then I also think that blows past the manifold, so you double heating your air and then you get heat. A lot better than the south winds that have a fire inside of the car, so I like this better. Another thing we noticed was somebody has put a remote coil here and it's not hooked up. So we're wondering if at some point this thing had a hot start problem, which is common with these original coils that sit on top of the distributor, that sometimes when they start to go bad, they will heat soak and the car won't start when it's hot and you have to let it cool down. So they might have had an extra coil that if that happened, they just swapped the coil wire over. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe it had a different distributor in it or a remote coil conversion in it. Somebody put it back. I don't know. It seems to be okay so far, but we have to actually get it out and drive it for real to find out. Do some pizza runs. So Steve's going to start by taking this carb off. We have a brand new rebuilt carb that was sitting on the shelf. So to make our life potentially easier, we're going to put that on, see if it's any better. We don't know. It's an old carburetor. It might have just as much problems. I think Mike brought it over here, but we got to look at it, make sure it's the correct carb. But we have this carb here that's all been redone. If not, we have some kits sitting that we can redo the carburetor and put that one back on with a kit. I think the accelerator pump is junk. So Steve's got a little bit of work. I'm going to work on something else in the meantime, and we'll show you guys what we find.
Ended up real nice there.
Yeah, Steve even is period correct, and we found these somewhere. I don't know where the heck we found these, but they're
Protect the car.
yeah, vintage mechanic fender covers. Everything down to the mechanic is vintage on this thing.
Hey, I ain't that old.
I don't know if this has ever been replaced. I don't know how hard it is to get an original type filter, but that sure looks like it's original, and it is extremely clean. It's kind of crazy. So I really think all the stuff we're pulling apart like this, that looks like 19,000 miles, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt if maybe the car sat and somebody did redo the engine, you know? And we don't know, but
Yep.
it's kind of neat. There's all kinds of little yellow lines where somebody that put this back together had was very meticulous, to make sure the clips are on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like they were an aircraft mechanic, putting all the safety marks.
Yep.
See if anything moved on you. I mean, that was great if you never thought you were going to have to take the car apart.
Right, yeah, if the car was never ever coming apart again.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, there we go. Wow.
Kind of like you took a shit. Let me see this.
And there's some nasty, rusty junk.
Oh yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look. It's filming. Oh yeah, let's show. Looks like we're. Jeez. I'm gonna get the. Oh, there we go. I'm getting
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, you can see the rusty.
Mm-hmm.
That probably is not helping it run.
Nope.
When you got mucky water in the bottom of it, or fuel, rather.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, probably give it a good clean and accelerator pump. It might just be clogged from crap too.
It could be. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
It sounds like a lot of other cars. You gotta unclog the carb 18 times till it finally.
Yeah. Right. So you finally get all the crap blown through it. Yeah.
All right. So Steve's about to put this sucker back together. You found a little bit of dirt initially, and then that stuff you had to clean out. So what's the surface? Oh, you cleared out that whole. That was a passage that was.
Yeah, that was all completely filled with RTV, and that's the vacuum source for the power valve.
So you can see there's a little trail there that goes through. That was totally filled with RTV. When you initially took it off the car, it just looked like the hole was filled, and then you started digging and you found the little trough for the vacuum there that was totally blocked. So that's not helping things.
The power valve was non-functional at that point.
Yeah, so that might have been our issue with trying to pull out and stuff with it.
Yeah, easily could have been.
Fingers crossed, Stromberg Steve is Holly Steve today. Holly Harry.
Right, we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out.
It's gotta run better than before, right?
That's what I'm going with.
Gotta.
That's what I'm going with.
I keep my torch more on this part that's thicker here. We know the sheet metal is really thin. So I'll point it like this towards the thicker part. And I'll kind of wake it up real quick. All right, so Steve got the fuel bowl off, carbs all together. Look at all the crap in the bottom. So they changed the tank in this car, but probably didn't change the fuel line. And look at all the stuff that's picking up. So we'll Steve's gonna carefully walk it outside and dispose of it in our chemical bin, but I wanted you guys to see.
That is a lot of debris.
Debris. Oh my God, yeah. And you know some of those pieces could have easily gotten in that carburetor and blocking stuff up. So get that all cleaned out and then we could see what's going on with the fuel, you know, when we run it through it. So on our way to getting the carb back on. Fuel will come
Yeah, we just used all the fuel.
The bowl.
Yep, it's half full now. It's full now. It just filled up.
Before I pass out.
No.
I'll call that a success for. Ooh, Jesus, all right.
Heck yeah.
Step one: make carb not suck.
That was freaking cool. I was so glad we had that in stock. That was awesome.
Well, shit. Should we take it around the block to see if it drives better? All right, we're gonna try and take our first drive to the gas station with the carburetor repaired by Steve. Hopefully we don't run out of fuel. Tires felt a little flat spotted. Hopefully with bias plies they will go back around again if you drive it a little bit. Definitely better now. Not even warmed up and it's already running better than it was before warmed up. Alright, this is where we hope we don't run out of fuel. We're gonna be having a problem. Crazy how quiet this thing is, like, other than the exhaust leak. Alright, we're gonna put some, whatever the highest gas they have in is. Alright. We're going to take a slightly longer way around the block, see how the car, try and get it into third and see how it does a little faster. Pretty much up to normal temperature now, so seems to, we've lost that hesitation, which is good. Oops, jeez. This car doesn't even have turn signals yet. It's still that original. Oops, we're going through the red light. Don't mind us. Yeah, it seems good. Now that we put the new carburetor on it, it doesn't have that hesitation anymore or bogging. Once we get rid of the exhaust leak, it'll probably be even better. I don't want to say that's obvious, but
It kind of is.
I
It kind of is. I understand.
Alright, I think if you get it loose enough, this will slide out of
Maybe.
the hanger.
Is that loose enough? It's going apart pretty well.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy for how old the car is that stuff's coming apart like this.
And especially if you don't drive it.
Yeah, right? Keep it in the garage for its entire life. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been one of the first times I saw Rain driving
Yeah,
just down to
right.
the gas station.
Uh-huh.
The purists are yelling. Alright, go ahead, see if you can get to that now. Now, don't mind the sawzall on the floor. This thing is gonna just slide right off.
Yeah.
I spoke too soon, probably.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Oh boy. Alright. I just gotta fill that little hole there. Take a coat hanger, butter knife, and a spoon, and we're gonna make this good again.
It'll be good as new.
Just like they do on the YouTubes. Alright, so Steve's been fighting with the manifolds here, and he ended up he got all the bolts off the manifold except for one. He had to use the nut splitter because it was going to take the stud, which he successfully got off. Now we just are fighting with the little washers are just stuck to the stud, and he got one.
One down. Well, that's two down.
Two down. And then we're going to drop the whole crossover in one shot with, which is hard to see, but that muffler that's up there, and then I'm going to repair the muffler. It's like the muffler for the heater, if you want to call it that. I don't even know, heat exchanger?
Heat exchanger, probably.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Proper terminology.
There you go.
So we'll have this out soon. I got all the exhaust pieces over here out, and I actually cut. This is the piece towards the back, and it went like this. And this is the piece that was all rotted out. It basically was sitting at the lowest point of the exhaust, was filling up with water, and then over time it rotted out, of course. So I have another piece, same exact size. I'm going to butt weld it in because we're being cheap asses, but also because this exhaust system is pretty good except for these few little spots. So other than maybe a couple little pinholes here, a little spot that I had to put a relief cut, I'll have to weld up to get that separated, but not too bad. The muffler's in good shape. We cleaned everything up. It slides back together, so we should be able to get this thing cobbled together, if you want to call it that, hopefully. That little heat exchanger will be the hardest part. All right, we got the exhaust all fitted up. Took a few photos just so we could show people how clean it is underneath if we go to, when we go to sell it. Yeah, and I think we can let it down and hear how it sounds with the patched up exhaust. Boom, get out of the snake skins. Mouse nest in the snake skins. Yeah, come here. You gotta get out. You're all dirty. You're a dirty dog. Probably gonna have to play with the carb tuning now that has back pressure too.
Yeah, I have to do a little adjusting.
So got the car pulled outside out in the open, and it has a tiny little exhaust leak, probably a little pinhole that we didn't hit, but actually now that it's outside, it sounds pretty good. It's not bad at all. So I would say that's a win. It's not so obnoxious. You can hear the engine actually running now. I have the idle, the choke's still on, it's still cold, so it's idling a little high. Steve and I got to work on getting the idle air mixture probably set, because they probably had it all out of whack with that carburetor being gooped up. I'm imagining they probably didn't have the idle mixture set quite right, but got good sound to it. That's what a stock 40 sounds like.
Yep.
But you hear back here at the exhaust. Yeah, just a little bit. So, yeah, car's looking good. I think we're gonna let it warm up, set the idle air mixture, take it for a little bit further of a drive now, and get it going and warmed up. And we put some more fuel in it, obviously, Evan and I. So we got mostly new fuel, but we still got to run a couple gallons probably of that old fuel out. So we're gonna, like I said, let it warm up, drive it around, get it nice and hot and warm, and all the fluids moving, which is good for these old cars. And then pretty much just clean her up and she's ready to sell. It's like so crazy how it like starts. I don't even think it's starting.
Yep. Right, you ready to turn the key again?
Yeah, what the heck? All right. So we're gonna take this thing for a little bit more of a drive. And try and get the tires a little more round, I guess is what we're trying to do here. But mainly I just want an excuse to drive it before we sell it. Alright, get my 18-point turn. A lot easier to drive than the first time. The exhaust is nice now, man. You can, you know, all you hear is the engine. It's,
Yep.
I think I'm being pretty nitpicky about the maybe tiny little spit.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure my hot rods probably have a tiny little leak like that too, but you can't hear it over how loud the exhaust is.
That is a good thing, yeah. That's the nice part about loud exhaust.
Yeah. And Steve went and adjusted the brakes up a little bit. The fronts were what? The fronts were really loose.
Fronts were loose, yeah.
They were just had, you know, no resistance at all or drag on them. So Steve went and did that. Again, when we're selling cars that we're trying to make like, you know, a driver, even though this is kind of a barn find, we still want it to be a guy can get in and take it around the neighborhood after it comes off the trailer, you know, like we're doing, you know. So we're trying to make sure that as far as that stuff goes, it's good to go.
Yep.
So it's actually, I think anything we're feeling with like a little bit of misfire, not even misfire, like running, there's like a little burble.
Little
I think,
choppiness, yeah.
Yeah, I think from it not being run much, and when they had it for sale, they probably started it up like we did, like 10 times, let it run for somebody, and it didn't really get, you know, driven. And then we started it a bunch doing the same thing. So I think just running that old fuel through it, getting it hot and burning the plugs, so
Yep.
the car's gonna start running better, much better once we do that. But for anybody that didn't realize, 40 Ford was the first year for Ford that they got column shift. So it's kind of a transition year car, and is, I would say, as far as iconic early Fords go, 40 and 32 are pretty much, you know, the most iconic. So there's people that are just as crazy as we are about 32s and 3.4s with 40s. And I think the dash and, you know, the styling on them is really, really good. Block in it.
That's beautiful block, yeah.
But the car drives nice, like shifting. You know, everything, it's so weird because everything's so tight in the car.
Tree.
Oh, wow. Apparently we had a tree get struck by lightning last night. That's new. Holy crap. Anyways, it definitely, I'm sure, and the other thing that's going to be a little bit of a fight in this car, I think, is they replaced the gas tank, but they didn't replace the fuel line, so it's got the original line in it. So we already saw from the little bit we ran it, there's already rust and debris that went back in the fuel, like in the fuel filter bowl, the glass bowl. So that's one of those things you gotta, you know, some of my cars, you know, the red 34, I think right before I got rid of it, it was finally just cleared out because I did the same thing. So it's just one of those things. It's got to get driven. You got to run fuel through it. You got to keep cleaning the bowl. It's probably going to get stuff in the carburetor, and you're going to have to clean it. It's part of having a barn find old car, and unless you're replacing every single piece with new, you're going to run into that. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing 50 in it. It's got original rear, so you're kind of tacking out a little bit at 55, 60.
You can definitely feel a little bit of the tires.
Yeah.
Little flat spotting on the tires.
Yeah, we got a little bit of flat spotting on the tires, so that's something that needs to be addressed for sure. So, oh no, we're gonna go right. Forgot that bridge was
Yeah,
out.
you can't go that way.
Go down in a second. We'll just turn around here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go up over the mountain with it.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, this thing, you can hear it running, idling.
It's beautiful.
I mean, especially now that we're driving it.
Mm-hmm.
And the gauge is sticking right around norm, just barely over, and we haven't really put the thing in driving it like up to speed, but this is a good one.
After the red one, we're good.
So you can still feel a little bit like, you know, it's got a little, not quite running 100%, but
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of that's gas plugs,
Mm-hmm.
just not being driven. But this is as close as we'll get to driving a brand new 40 Ford.
You ain't kidding.
So this is what it would have been like in, like, say 1950 to buy a little old lady car that had no miles in it and just sat in the garage, you know. Guys are buying cars like this for $25 or something like that.
Right.
And this would be some kid would be forced to drive this to school, you know. Oh man, what are you driving that little
I
old
wanted
lady?
a coupe.
Yeah, I wanted a cute. But yeah, I mean, the car's, it's good. It run. I mean, we don't need to drive it a ton, but you can tell it'll be once it gets some miles put on it. All these Survivor cars I ever get, it's like you got to drive them and work all the bugs out and get everything from sitting just worked out. So this car, I'm sure it's a sweetheart, but you're gonna have to drive it and, like you said, clean things up, change the plugs or clean the plugs and change the fuel filter and run fuel through it. But this one runs so good, I'm tempted to take it to like a cruise-in this week, just because. Confuse people. I didn't know you had that car. It doesn't even have turn signals yet. It's so unmolested.
Right.
pretty hot and very humid today, and the thing's running just a little over half. And we've been driving around town, so nothing unusual for a flathead, of course. So I would say, you know, it's pretty good.
Hey,
We could probably put this upstairs.
yeah. Yeah, go right upstairs with it.
Cool. All right, so our drive got cut a little bit short with the rain that came in. Of course, we're getting like all of our rain for the spring in a matter of like a week. So we did a little bit of driving in between the thunderstorms. It's now raining. We pulled it inside, and I'm going to say this thing is pretty much ready for the road, other than maybe putting some fresh tires on it. And again, like I mentioned, when I was driving it, just do some normal maintenance that comes with driving a car, resurrecting a car that's been sitting for a while. I think this thing's pretty much good, and I would trust it definitely at this point to drive it around, you know, definitely within like an hour radius or something if you're no problem. And it's just a fantastic car. I was mentioning in the beginning of the video, like hinting that it was going to be for sale. During this video, it actually sold. So while Steve and I, over a course of days, were working on the exhaust and the carb and all that stuff, the car actually sold. We got a deposit for it from the first video. So the car is going to be sold and off to a new home that's hopefully going to leave it just like you see it and just be enjoyed. But it's been really fun to grab this car, put it back on the road again, and just see a cherry example of a 44, which was really a treat for me to drive something that's as close to new as I will probably ever see without being restored. So thank you guys for following. Hope you enjoyed this little mini series, if you will, or a couple of videos on the 44. It just shows you that these cars are still out there. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.